guys, welcome to Creative on the Cheap. My name is Courtney. Today I have got 3 fun spring DIYs for you. Thank you to Shabby for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into these DIYs and get crafting. For the first DIY, I will be making a reverse canvas using one of these 16 by 20 canvases from Hobby Lobby. I got it in a value pack. The first step I'm taking is to go ahead and remove the staples from the back. This is optional, but I will be using a screwdriver and my pliers to get those staples out. If you choose not to take the staples, just take a box cutter or an X-Acto knife and just trim on the outside of the staples. I just wanted to do this because when I go to reattach the canvas, I wanted to make sure I had enough and I wasn't getting too close to my fingers when I stapled it back down. Once the staples are out, I'm going to go ahead and remove the canvas part and set that aside. And now I'm going to prep my frame. So when I do reverse canvas projects, I do not like these little openings in the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and fill it with some wood filler that's paintable and stainable. So make sure if you do that, that you get one that you can stain or paint. I do not worry about the openings on the edges on the outside of the frame because they are not that noticeable. But for the inside, I'm definitely going to get those filled up. You may also be wondering at this point why in the world I am doing the wood filler like this. Well, as much as I'd like to say it's some awesome technique, it's not. My wood filler was almost out and I was struggling to get it out of the tube, so this is just how I did it. And honestly, every now and then I like to get my hands dirty, so this was kind of fun. While the wood filler is setting up, I'm going to start working on my fabric bunnies. So these 4 things of fabric, you guys have been seeing me using them. The other day I was at Hobby Lobby and they have all of these in stock. So you should be able to find them. It's in the regular fabric wall that they have there where it's kind of color coded. That's where they are, at least at my Hobby Lobby. So I'm taking one of these foam bunnies from Dollar Tree and using that as my template, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut 4 squares of the fabric, and then I'm going to trace the bunny onto the fabric on the back side of each square using a pencil, and then I will cut them out. My bunnies are cut out, so now I'm going to take a sanding block and I'm just going to lightly go over where the wood filler was and sand it off. Then I'll wipe the frame down real good, make sure there's nothing left, and then I'm ready to go ahead and stain my frame. Now, I didn't want to use an actual stain and I didn't want to paint it, so what I'll be using is this brown cream wax from Hobby Lobby. I have had this jar of wax for forever. I'm not even kidding, literally forever. So I'm just going to give it a nice light coat and it puts the perfect tint that I want on my frame. All right, now I'm going to work on my embellishments for my frame, and I've decided I want to add some felt flowers to my frame. I just love the felt flowers. I feel like it's a nice break from florals, and it's just something a little different. I did just do a very more in-depth tutorial about how to make these, so I will link that video down below if you want to see, but I'll try to briefly explain it right now. So for this one, you're going to cut a circle out of felt, then take a pair of scissors and just snip the center like that. Then taking a pair of scissors, I'm using my curved blade Fiskars. These are game changer when you're working with felt. I will link some down below. You're just going to start going in a spiral, cutting little scallops basically until you get all the way to the edge of the circle. Now taking the end where you finished, the opposite end of where you started, you're just going to start twirling it around like this until you get it wrapped all the way around. And then once you do that, I'm going to secure the base with some hot glue and kind of just tack some of the little petals down. And then for the embellishment in the center, I'm going to end up putting in one of these pearls. I got these from Dollar Tree, and I think it just adds the perfect little finishing touch. Using some stiff green felt, I just freehanded some leaves using my pinking shears. Now it's time to start assembling this project. So I'm going to start by putting my canvas back on to the frame, having the white side be the back. I'm going to start by kind of attaching the top with my staple gun, and then I like to do opposite. So I'll pull it and do the bottom, then I'll go left, right, and then I'll fill it all in with a bunch of staples. The back's on, so now I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and trim around the edge. You certainly could use an X-Acto knife if you wanted to, but I'm just going to zip across, do that. And then my bunnies were a little bit wrinkled, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly spray them with some of this Grove Collaborative Wrinkle Spray. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. It works really well. I'm not a big fan of an iron. Like, I don't use an iron. That's what my dryer's for. So this wrinkle spray is a lifesaver for me. I have used the Downy one in the past. The one I'm using right now is by Grove Collaborative. But the one that I use from Downy, I'll try to link it down below if I can find it. It works really well also. Then once the bunnies are pressed, I'm going to let them dry. And then I'll be ready to start attaching my flowers to my frame. To attach these, I am going to just be using some hot glue. Now, the yellow rose right there that I'm putting down right now, I thought I was recording how I did that, and I did not. It's super easy. So to make that flower, you're going to start with a circle piece of felt, and then you're going to start on the outside of the circle and just cut a spiral, working your way all the way into the middle, and then start on that end and just roll it into itself just like you did with the pink one. So that one is super easy to do. Again, I will link down the tutorial that I did on those if you want a little more detailed information. Once these are down, I'm going to start working on the little garland that I want to attach to my frame. For my little garland, I will be using wooden beads and buttons. So these beads, I always buy all my beads on Amazon. I will link them down below. And I have 4 different colored buttons that all coordinate with the fabric I'm using. This pastel pack of buttons came from Hobby Lobby quite a while ago. So my pattern is just 3 beads, a button, 3 beads, a button. And I'm going to end up using a total of 8 buttons. Now I'm making some wonky looking tassels. The reason I'm doing them this way is because I wanted them to be kind of flat so that more surface area of the button will actually attach to the tassel, versus if I did it the regular way, it would have been very bulky and lumpy, and I didn't want that. So that's why I'm doing it, but these will just be hot glued to the back of my buttons. All right, I wanted to quickly show you my detail tip glue gun, but specifically show you a feature on this one, because in my last couple of videos, you guys have noticed that I set my glue gun on its side directly onto my table, and I wanted to show you why I can do that. Right here, you see these little, I call them wings, Sherbonder calls them fins. This is what allows me to be able to set this on its side on my table while I'm working and not worry about it damaging my table. It also prevents the glue from getting backed up in the chamber. I'm just attaching my tassels with some hot glue, and then I will hot glue my garland down to my canvas. I got my garland attached and the tassels attached to the buttons. Now I'm getting my bunnies ready. I'm going to be using some of the Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. I love this stuff. And guys, this is actually, it's a repositional one. I wanted to show you that. So when you put it down, you can actually peel it up, stick it back down, and it works great. I had been using a different brand, the Treehouse brand from Hobby Lobby, but this is my new favorite spray adhesive. So I'm going to give the backs of these a very light coat, and then I'm going to get them all stuck down to my canvas. The last step is to attach the little tails to the bunnies. I went back and forth on what I wanted to use for this, whether it was going to be a pom-pom, but I don't know. These beads were calling to me. They're flat on one end. I got these from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue them onto there, and this project is finished. This next project is a very quick little thrift flip. So I got this thing of houses. It said welcome from Goodwill. And what I'm going to do is take out all these little eye hooks. I'm going to save those because I'm actually out of eye hooks. And once I get those out, I'm going to give it a light sanding where I unscrewed the eye hooks. And then I'm going to go in and paint all of my houses a different color. I ended up painting 2 coats of paint on each of the houses, and I will put down in the description box the names of the paint colors that I used. So here are the houses, and they actually looked really cute like this, but I just wanted to add some more details to them. So I had this bag of wooden squares, and I decided I was going to try to give each house some sort of like distinctive feature. So I'm going to mess around by putting some roofs on some of them, giving some of them windows and door, and then the one with the chimney is just going to be its own unique feature. Make the tin roof, I'm going to be using one of these tea time things from Dollar Tree. Is this supposed to be a license plate? Like, I don't know. Put gloves on, guys. If you're going to do this, please wear gloves, safety first. And all I'm going to do is cut a piece of this. It cuts super easily, and I'm just going to cut a piece of it and then just fold it over and attach it to one of the roofs on the house. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start assembling my houses. So I am just going to take some wood hot glue and use that since I'm working with wood on wood here. It works really well. I had questions about does it bulk up? No, if you apply enough pressure when you press it down, it works really well. So I haven't had a problem with it bulking up at all. I have used wood glue plenty of times in the past. Now what I'm going to do is take some of these beads and go ahead and glue them between each of the houses just to kind of give it a little extra feature. This last DIY is a super easy one. I am seeing fabric bunnies everywhere and I knew I wanted to make some, so I found this printable on Pinterest. I will link it down below for you if you would like to use this one. I'm going to cut it out. Once it's cut out, I'm going to go ahead and pin it to a folded over piece of fabric. This fabric came in a 6-pack of fat quarters from Walmart. It's actually a flannel material, which is really nice for this type of project, so the material's not super thin. Once I have pinned the bunny down and I'm ready to start cutting, I originally did cut about a 1/2 inch allowance around the template. Why I did that, I don't know. It was an extra step that didn't need to be done. So really what you need to do is pin your bunny down, and then if you have pinking shears, which is what I'm using, just take the pinking shears and go around the edge and just cut it like this. And there you go. You don't have to have that extra step of leaving an allowance. I don't feel like that's even necessary. Here's my bunny all cut out, and now starting at the top, I am just going to be using regular hot glue to close this. Now I'm using my detail tip again because I can put just a small amount of glue, and because this is flannel, this glue actually sticks to it really well, and I immediately press it down so there are no bumpy, lumpy, 3D, you can tell I glued it type look. As you can see, I'm kind of pressing it as I go. So I'm just going to work my way down the bunny in little sections here, closing off. Like you can see right there, very small amount of glue needed until I get to the very bottom, and then I'll be ready to stuff it. Now, before we get to the filling of this bunny, I did want to just quickly say that lucky the cereal dog toy killer has not struck in a couple days, so I didn't have batting for this. You'll notice the little styrofoam balls on the screen right here to the left. I'm just going to put some clips of the real audio so you guys know what the struggle was with those. No. Oh my gosh. No. No. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. But these are... Oh no. They're everywhere. These are the worst craft supply ever invented. Because, oh no, what the, no, oh, come on, oh dear, this is like the worst ever plan, I think. Okay, maybe not the worst plan I've ever had. Do not recommend this activity. Should have just shoved the ding dong bag in there. Once the little styrofoam balls were inside the bunny, which was a task in itself, I took a piece of twine and tied it around its neck, tied a little bow. But here is a hack that I realized for the second bunny I made. If you take the package from Dollar Tree, assuming it's not opened yet, just snip the bottom corner of the package and you can literally just squeeze them out that way. And it worked beautifully for the second bunny. I didn't film it, but save yourself a headache and do it that way. But these little styrofoam balls actually are great fillers. They're just a pain to work with. Please comment down below and let me know which one of these was your favorite DIY. I love reading your comments and responding to them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for a little extra creative on the cheap. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying spring DIYs, and I will see you in the next video.